Okay, hi. Um, this might be my favorite video to date. We haven't even recorded it yet, and the reason is I just love this topic. I do not love the remodel behind me, but that'll be gone in a couple months. Um, okay, so this post, and if you don't want to watch this, you can go below and just read in the charts really quick, like what we're looking for. This video will kind of flesh it out in a lot more detail for the writing nuts like me. And I'm going to start here with the content guidelines, or sorry, the style guidelines. And that the purpose of style, like consistency on a publication, is really like when you come to one place as a reader or as a consumer of content, are you going to have the same experience? And I'm not talking about like the same opinions necessarily, but like, do you have the same emotional reaction? Do you get the same kind of welcome that creates like expansiveness and clarity and permissiveness, like a feeling of permissiveness inside of you to take your clothes off, take your makeup off, sit on the floor, and really just like be that essential quality inside that you are? Do you let that person, that woman, that man breathe? Do you give him or her oxygen? So that's what we're looking to create here on this publication. And I've used the analogy before of like, how, like, if you're a woman, how are you when you're sitting on the floor with no makeup, or you're just chatting with girlfriends, like in your Lulu pants or like whatever you wear in your most comfortable moments? That's what we're shooting for here. And so that really is what I'm talking about when I say style or when I say voice. So getting into like the nitty gritty of what that means, what constitutes the style of any particular brand or publication or person or essence. In this case, it's about content consumability, right? So that's the question: is it easy to read? And easy to read really boils down to, more than you would think, how similar copy is written to how you speak. And that's a really difficult balance or like end point to get to, I guess. Because like when something's written down, like it makes you focus on what you're saying, and usually for me, like you have to, like, sometimes anxiety will come up, or like I overcomplicate or whatever, and my best writing is where I take the first draft and usually get it down to the point where it's like at least half the word count, if not way less than what it was the first time around. I also usually have to sit with something for a couple weeks, because like it's powerful, for instance, like write a personal piece when you're super emotional, because you get out all that like creative, just like whew, that like pureness. But then it's also good to come back later, at least for me, at a different time when I'm feeling much more logical and rational, and kind of apply intellect to my emotions. So it rounds it out. It kind of gives like a story more of the yin and the yang. And so I would really advise you, like when you write your pieces, and even if you're just submitting like a quote or you're submitting pictures, like sit with the tension and the uncertainty for a while of like, what are you trying to say? And where haven't you said that better? And like what comes up for you as you read it out loud? Like what words don't you need? And where's your ego coming in? Where are you just like not being true to yourself? So I would ask you, when you're thinking about readability, to first start there. And then secondly, like this is more architectural or structural, but a lot of the reading or content consumption experience purely or simply is just how something looks on a page. And I'm talking about like, make sure you balance white space. Think about how you use capitals. Going back to white space real quick, in the same way that when you're speaking, you pause, and that gives the watcher, the viewer, time to kind of digest what you've said and then also get curious about what's coming next. White space on a page gives your reader breathing room. And sentence length, like really short sentences and long ones, that variety it adds a lot of intrigue to a piece. So apply some of that more like rational thought process to when you are editing your stuff, because it has a big effect on how much the reader is going to be engaged with what you've put out, and then by extension, like how much he or she is going to take with them and remember. Just a couple things. Most people, when their eye skims a page or skims paragraphs, they read the first and the last sentence of a paragraph. So easy way to get around that. Make your paragraphs super short, like make them 2 sentences and you kind of guarantee that someone's going to read your stuff. Same with lists. Keep them 3 to 5 bullets. The eye typically doesn't read more than that. Like think about like a thesis paper, a PhD thesis. Like, are you going to sit down and read that for fun? Probably not. And yet we'll like scan tweets or our newsfeed super quick because it's that bite-sized consumable length. Excuse me. So I'll say that. And then as far as it goes for like message retention, like you're saying something because you want to communicate a message to the world, right? You want to share part of yourself. You're sharing a story. Stories get remembered when they're emotional. Like we as humans, Simon Sinek talks about this a lot in his TED Talks and his writing, and they're brilliant if you haven't seen them. We as humans function off of the question why. Like logic tells, emotion sells. That's something that Zig Ziglar has been credited with saying. So be emotional, be vulnerable as you're expressing yourself in these pieces, and then when you've kind of gotten whatever you're saying to where you'd like it to be, and you're looking for images to submit with or to put inside of your stories, be thoughtful about what you pick. Like maybe match the emotional reaction you have to a photo to the emotional reaction you want your reader to have to your story, because our mind functions such that we are 6 times more likely to remember something if there's an image that goes along with the words or the stories, and so that's just an easy way to like have someone remember what you want them to remember. And I'll give a quick example here. So I just noticed this in the mirror. Like I tend to match my nails with the things that I wear, and that's because usually like how I'm feeling at a particular point in time is the color that I've chosen for my nails that week. I paint them myself. And so like chances are you're watching me right now and you've kind of noticed like, whoa, she has really bright fingernails and they match her glasses. Hopefully that kind of like synchronicity here, that's kind of the same synchronicity you should hope for, strive for in your content piece. Let's see, what else do I need to say? Okay, so credibility. Your thoughts and your experience are really the most credible thing that we're looking for here. But when you are citing statistics or when you're like referencing a fact, for SEO reasons, and then also just for like sheer believability, please include that link, that statistic, whether it's an at mention of somebody else on Medium or another post, or whether it's a link external to the publication as well. That's important. Length. Submit something that's 3 words. Submit something that's 300,000. Like whatever you need to say, and then however way you need to say it, that's what we're looking for. So don't stress about that one too much. And then for those of you who are musical, like there are several writers on this publication who are also musicians, and in upcoming posts we're gonna have some of their stuff just uploaded. There's ways to embed songs as with videos in your pieces. So if you just want to say something like in lyrical form, go for it. What's more beautiful than music, like of your essence? Like if that's how you communicate and express yourself, we need more of that in the world. I'm so excited. And then let's see. Oh, okay. So because we are trying to create community here, like the more people that you mention in your pieces, the more we want that on the site. So please, like, mention away your friends, other Medium posts that you've read, as I've already said. And if you are comfortable with it, we would love you to submit a video alongside of or embedded into your post. when you send in your submission. And if you're not comfortable with it or you're doing an anonymous piece, like, no worries. We will do it for you. I'll just basically do this. Someone else on the team will do this. So not a problem. But again, would be really rad to see your face on this publication, particularly because words themselves are just 7% of communication. You add 38% onto that when you can hear someone's tone of voice, and you add the remaining 45% to get to a full 100% when you see body language and facial expression. So, I guess it just depends on what you want to say, and how you want to say it, but be aware that your power as a storyteller, your power as a communicator, you've got those tools to tap into if you'd like them available. Okay, I'm gonna film a separate video for the content types. So scroll down.